Right, so I wanted to talk about why people are putting up flags, because there's a lot of discussion about, why are these far-right racists putting up their flag? And in fact, you get incidents like this. This is where a chap's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah, you can, but I'm telling them I want them back. It's fucking disgusting, mate. Right, you understand you're taking the flag
There's
down,
this Jamaican
yeah?
bobble.
And it's patriotic what we're doing.
Which one? What the significance?
Pardon?
What the significance of this flag?
The significance is the fact that we put them up because there's illegal immigrants in the hotel and we're showing patriotism to our country.
The baffled expression.
Blank stare.
Yep. But notice, like, the English guy doing this, just everyone around him is a foreigner. Everyone involved in this is a foreigner wearing another country's flag, being like, what's the significance of the England flag? Why does this matter to you? And it's like, it really goes to show you just how insidious the UK is, right? The people who are doing this to us are not evil. They're all just like, I'm just following order. I'm just doing my job. I don't even know what your complaint is. I don't know what the significance of your own flag in your own country is.
I mean, this is what occupation looks like.
Yeah, but it's...
When everybody persecuting you is a foreigner, you are occupied.
But the thing is, occupation is usually not as evil as this, right? Because at least with occupation, you know who the occupiers are, and the occupiers know why they're there, right? The British Empire in India, like, you go up to an Englishman, what's the significance of the England flag or the Indian flag or whatever, they'd at least be able to tell you what the purpose of them being there was.
Yeah.
Well, this is a new form of occupation.
Exactly.
This is occupation in modern times with the mass man and mass migration. This is what
exactly. This is way more insidious because these guys. I'm wearing a Jamaican flag because I'm Jamaican, bro. You know, he don't. Yeah. He doesn't think about it.
But they don't understand even what the flag is. So to me, now some disagreed, but I compared it to the Confederate flag in America because it's like, why are you getting out of this arcane racist flag that we don't understand? And that's now the St. George's Cross in England.
Yes, that's genuinely, for American viewers, that's the way this is being treated, as if people were going around in New York or something putting up Confederate flags. And again, like, the people just have no idea. This means nothing to them.
And also, just on that, as far as I'm concerned, Americans from the South should feel pride in being able to put up a Confederate flag. The fact that people let themselves get browbeaten over their national flags like that is why we end up with situations like this.
You get more of it.
Well done, mate.
Skip it.
What's happening? All the rats have arrived, have they?
They'll be asleep for a minute.
That's all right. We're here all night, mate.
So they're trying to say they don't want no trouble with it all that.
Yeah, well,
But we're leaving the flags up, and they're
flags
saying
are staying up, aren't they? Well, you got problems with the English flag, mate? Have you?
Let's not go down there.
You've got issues with it. Have you got issues, mate? Why are you taking the flags down?
Because that's not
Again, the people here to take the flags down are both foreign. They're both foreigners. But they're like, don't care. I'm just here to do my job. Like, again, I don't care about this issue. This is not an issue to them. As far as they're concerned, this is something genuinely archaic that they don't understand and they don't care about. They're just being paid to take it down. Don't worry about it. Like, not our problem, right? And so you've got, like, you know, lefties who then start going, well, you know what this is? It's racism. Putting English flags up, it generally isn't a bad thing. Putting English flags up to make people feel uncomfortable is a bad thing. Learn the difference.
And now into this strange realm of subjective intention again, and all these strange non-crime hate incidents where the person felt uncomfortable, therefore it's a crime. Yeah. So I've got to, with my flag, I've got to wonder, will you, person with flag in bio, by the way, but a different flag, will you be offended by my flag? And if you are, I can't put it up. How am I going to even know that? Of course you're going to be offended because you're offended by everything. But
also, they definitely put their flag up to make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
They definitely did that.
Yeah, why is that in your bio? Because I don't love that.
Yeah, exactly. But this has been a common refrain from the left, of course, and obviously the Guardian had to have an input on this. So there was a group called the Whittle Flaggers, which raised £2,000 to put up flags in small donations, and they said it's not racist and it never will be. We have members of the community of all ethnicities and religions stopping by and praising what we're doing, so please don't call this racist. And the thing is, like, this is not going to be a winning strategy in any way, shape, or form. they are going to call you a racist. They're not going to be like, oh, right, okay, you're just putting up the England flag for neutral reasons. I guess you're not a racist.
By the way, this is a funny, for anyone who's not in this country, such a ridiculous English sentence, dangerous lamppost movement. Can there really be other than bashing your head into a lamppost, is there ever such thing as a dangerous lamppost movement?
Yeah, organisers say they're just being patriotic, but some suspect the far right is behind the dangerous lamppost movement. And that's... Do you want to know who suspects the far right are behind this? The Socialist Workers' Party think the far right are behind this. Anti-racism campaigners say they have concerns about the motivation and timing of the movement. We are concerned that the discussion around the English flag and patriotism is giving cover for racism driven by the far right and shamefully by politicians of all shades, says Lewis Nielsen, anti-fascist officer at Stand Up to Racism. That's a front for the Socialist Workers' Party, and exactly what you would expect them to say. They, of course, hate the England flag because they hate England. Anyway, you had interesting discussions on TV about this. So this campaign has been remarkably successful and actually got everyone talking about the subject
I
that
believe.
we'll talk about.
All right. I'll just...
We'll get to one... There we go, about here. Of course we will. Of course it won't play.
Far right. Wherever there's a far right rally, that's the flag that they are.
The people who think that,
and
are very boring people. They're very boring if they think that. They're very dull and they need to get a life.
But that's right. They might be boring, but they have concerns and they feel threatened.
I understand why
the far right have done some very horrible things in this country, so I think people have the right.
The far right don't get to claim ownership of the nation's flag. And so anyone who tries to say that needs to just get their head into reality. Honestly, it's bird-brain stuff if they really, truly believe that this flag has somehow been taken over by the far right. Yes, there are idiots on all sides of the political spectrum, and idiots need to be called idiots and ostracised as much as humanly possible. But the idea that because some people associate through their own prejudice that St. George's flag resembles some symbolism of the far right are just bird-brain idiots who, quite frankly, need to go elsewhere.
But maybe you should be attacking...
So that's a Tory council, Tory MP, ex-Tory MP. Far right needs ostracising. Love the England flag. Probably going to get ostracised. Thanks, Conservatives.
He immediately cooked.
Yeah, immediately. Bro, it's like, no, that's literally not about why people are flying this flag. Right, we'll go back to Kahindi Andrews very briefly because he had another great take on all of this. So I actually love it when Kahindi Andrews talks because he does say things that are honest. They're just, I mean, look at his face. Just look at his face. He's like, I love being paid to be evil in your country.
St. George's Cross on a pub. Are you going inside?
Well,
honestly, are you going?
Well,
inside?
you are. I mean, I come from Birmingham, Rakib, and the point is that there is, and we can't deny, there is an association, certainly between the St. George's flag and far-right racism. How do we...
So far-right means English working class. So if you see a pub with the the St. George's Cross on, you know that is an English working class pub. And suddenly Adil raised, well, I'm not going in there. So, oh, okay. So
your terms are acceptable.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Right? They put up these Palestine flags to mark territory, and they view the St. George's Cross as a way of marking territory, and that's why they're getting really offended by this.
Frankly, far right just means white person or English person who doesn't hate himself.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and I don't hate myself. I'm not an egalitarian, and I believe that multiracial societies have been a complete disaster on a mass scale, as has been experimented with for the past few decades in this country and elsewhere. So no, why should I hold myself to your standards when your standards have brought nothing but brutal misery to it?
But the point being, they recognise it as the English themselves claiming territory. So they reckon, oh no, that's English territory. I'm not going in there. I'm going to UK territory, when they're not flying the England flag and they're flying the Pride flag or something like this, right? That's how they interpret this. So were you going to say something?
No, I'm disagreeing.
Right. So yeah, then we've got Jeremy Vine, and this is Andrea Jenkins.
They want to have a voice, and don't forget about this. I'm sick of being back of the queue. I think that's why.
If you get something called Operation Raise the Colours, that sounds very military. It sounds very aggressive. And why are they doing it? So if you want flags on your town halls, you can make your choices.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll make your choices. I'll probably make different choices to you on the flags.
No.
But if you can't go around just sticking what you like on a lamppost. And if you're going out and putting the flag of St. George, why are you doing it? I bet you there's an aggression in this campaign, which I think we should beware of.
But look at the aggression of...
So just the point that, again, he sees the aggression in it because it's claiming territory. It's declaring that England, this part of England, belongs to the English collectively. That's what the associate editor of the Mirror is saying.
Yeah, and I can't improve on my tweet there where I said raising the flag is great as it forces far left nutters to admit they're triggered by the mere sight of our national symbol. So you've smoked out the left there just by having a flag. Because see how angry Paul Mason is about the flag.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Same with this guy.
No, that's him, isn't it?
No, that's not Paul Mason. This is
Kevin Maguire. I get those two so confused all the time.
I know, they look just
I
the
literally
same.
think they're the same person. Okay, that's Kevin Maguire.
But the point is, why is it sniffing them out, right? And it's because it's a declaration. This is not the UK. This is England, and England is for the English. The UK might be for all the diversity in the world, but not them.
Yeah.
And Andrea Jenkins is right. Another reason this is going up is what she'll explain now.
The pro-Palestinian lobby.
Yeah, that's why it was. That's why they were taken down.
But do you know? I mean, look. When I was the MP for Morley, they had one of the largest St George's celebration in the country. Even the BBC said, "Oh, is it the most patriotic town?" And it was actually amazing, that celebration, bringing everyone together and being proud to be English. And so I see nothing wrong with that. But to me, I think that this is an underlying protest movement because they feel that they're left out, forgotten about.
Migrants into Britain are amongst the most patriotic people in Britain.
Which is why they're so terrified when they see our flag.
Exactly. Which is why they're so terrified to see territory claimed by the English people. Like, we'll go to Kahindi Andrews now for his opinion on patriotism in Britain. But notice how triggered he got by that. She's like, well, look, it was just I was the MP in Morley, and a big St George's parade and a celebration. It was really great. I really enjoyed it, says Andrea Jenkins, an Englishwoman. And Kevin Maguire starts freaking out about it.
Yeah, and he can't quite condemn patriotism because that sounds too stupid on its own. So he has to say, well, actually, immigrants are patriotic. It's quite a strange claim. It's like it's okay when they're patriotic, but if we actually are, it's bad.
Which is why he's got the Jamaican flag.
So it's like, but is it the patriotism that's bad, Kevin, or is it who's doing it? So basically, we're not allowed our own flag. Only other people are allowed the flag.
Yes.
It's
because
a completely incoherent position.
Exactly, it is. Because what Kevin is arguing against is the English having an ethnic claim to land in England. That's what he's arguing about. They've already said, oh yeah, land is claimed by the flags, and everyone knows this, which is why they put their flags up anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't be putting up Palestine flags or Pride flags or whatever flags, right? You know, they wouldn't be putting these flags up if land wasn't being claimed symbolically by the raising of a flag. And when you raise an England flag, they're completely freaking out. How dare you, sir?
Yes, but if someone, an immigrant, does it, it stands for multiculturalism and the triumph of integration, I suppose.
Exactly. Should we go for a bit of Narinda?
Why not?
Yeah.
Kirsten.
It's about a minute in on this one.
She'll have a nuanced take.
She's got a very, very sensible take.
People should be putting up flags on lampposts, and in public areas, and attaching them to sort of.
And what he's actually saying is that that Downing Street put it when there's a match, a football match, and the country celebrating, and no one ever has a problem when Lionesses are playing or England or Team GB. We all want the flags up. We all feel very proud. No one is saying that you can't put your flag up because you feel proud of your country during those events. The problem here is, and everyone's conflating the issue, this raising of the colours is led by a group of people, men, proud Englishmen of their identity. I find it a little bit sinister, especially with what's going on in the country right now with the asylum seeker protest, the race riots last summer, and these people are often draped in these flags, and these protests have been organised by far-right groups, Homeland UK. I have a problem with those flags going up suddenly everywhere. The reason the Palestinian flags went up is for an ethical reason, a humanitarian reason. There's kids in Gaza being starved to death. There's a reason they went up.
Right.
English girls having horrible things happen to them, grooming gangs, those don't count as ethical reasons to be proud of being English or standing up for your own people. No.
I mean, everyone always rags on Narinda, but I'm telling you, she's a lovely woman and she'll just say the quiet part out loud, right? And it's perfect when they do. I love when the mask comes off, right? So
I love when every few months that video of you and her where she can't understand per capita goes back into the discourse.
I know.
Well, Carl's not recovered from getting destroyed in that debate. That's why he's bitter.
But again, what I love about Narinda, I do like Narinda because she'll just say the genuine truth of it, right? You can have your patriotism when we control it. right? When we are in charge of it, when it's the feminist movement putting up female sportsmen, or when it's, you know, whatever, like little siloed England match or whatever it is, when it's the sports ball, you can have it when we control it and when we can say, yep, this is literally just about football or about this little thing, the Olympics, whatever it is, and that's when it's acceptable, and you'll do it on our terms. You do it on your own terms, and oh my God, this is sinister. This is sinister.
And a bit later, she says it even more plainly. She says, "There's not even a game on." Just like so funny. Like, mind can't compute that it might not be about football. As if the flag came from football. Gareth Southgate invented this flag, don't you know, in 1996. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what's secondary, but to them that's primary. The sport, the celebration of UK lesbian football. And by the way, all of women's football is a psyop anyway. It only exists as a political movement. The actual football is rubbish.
I'm going to defend the footballers themselves, though. They were the most far-right racist things I've ever seen when they were coming out and going, yeah, we were playing for England, that's why we won.
Yeah, and
it's like, oh, good.
And I disagreed on that.
We've got English blood in us. It's like, okay, great.
And I could see that take, but I disagreed because it was like, that was to me the Narinda thing. That's the one time, that's your little crumb of patriotism.
Yeah, but they came out again with this hard right statement.
Football, I know, but it's within the psyop of women's football.
Sure.
So it's like, it's a far left thing in
but
itself.
No one told the footballers that, oh, no, this is a psyop. Don't be like, yeah, we won because of our English blood.
But you were allowed it, weirdly, in that moment, which is what she's saying. You're
no one
allowed
can go against it,
after a women's football match. That's the one time. Then you shut down your patriotism, like taking down the Christmas trees. Like, hang on, Carl, are you being patriotic after the football's finished? What are you doing?
But that's the point, isn't it? And then the distinction between our flag being unethical and the Palestine flag being ethical is just remarkable. That is an incredible statement. Because, I mean, like, one can make the argument is, okay, why is so much of England been sacrificed to multiculturalism? Why has it been taken away from us against our will, right? We didn't vote for this. In fact, every time we voted against this. So I would say there's actually a bit of an ethical quandary there that actually this is all in response to. And she said, no, that's not ethical. It's the foreign concerns that are ethical. And the thing is, even Jonathan Pye got this. Like, this is a good statement from him. This is precisely the problem. Labeling pride in one flag as ethical but demonizing another as sinister is the reason people are feeling the need to raise the second one. We're a fair few years into this culture war now and some people still don't get it. Even Jonathan Pye gets this.
His intern must have got hold of his phone for
I know, right?
Well, he's a funny one, Pye, because when Andrew Doyle was writing it, of course, it was coherent. And since Doyle left, it's been mainly just sort of libtard stuff. Yeah. But occasionally you can see like his actual common sense of just being a normal person somewhere deep down comes out, and he can't help but tweet something like this.
Yeah. And Peter Hitchens nailed it, to be honest. Quick quote from this, quote, "The reappearance of the St. George's Cross after a long retirement was a growing reaction to a vague feeling that Englishness is threatened in its own country, and you will nowadays find plenty of leftish people who sneer at it as racist," which we have seen a nice series of examples of. Because Peter Hitchens is completely correct here. What this really is, and I really mean this is a statement of ethnic domination of the English over their own country. This is to say, no, we the English have the jurisdiction over England. That's the ethical, moral correctness of this point. And that's why it has to be the St. George's flag going up. Putting up the British flag, unfortunately, doesn't have the same effect. And so I'm really tired of the containment right.
And people should read that whole Hitchens piece because it is excellent. And he talks about how people will bring the flag out when they feel a loss of their identity. But he also talks about how in war the flag has meant, like, oh, my allies are coming. It's meant a lot to people in the past. So it has that deep meaning of, oh, these are our people together. And so I read the whole piece, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's a statement of ownership. It's a statement that says this territory is ours and for our people. I mean, I saw Leo post the other day. He's like, I used to be nervous about an English flag, but now I'm just like, oh, thank God, my kindred. And it's like, for even the Scots to be like, oh, thank God, the English are putting their flags up is really interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to shame Robert Jenrick here for putting up a British flag. You missed the point, Jenners. This is not a powerful statement in any way, shape, or form. You look like containment. Disgusting. Get up there with an English flag, you bloody poser.
He did talk, didn't he, in the leadership campaign about English identity specifically.
He did, which is all the more reason why I'm shaming him. I mean, there are going to be lots of other ones who are going to put up British flags and whatnot. But Jenrick deserves special shaming for this. Absolutely.
And I don't see too much of a problem with putting up the British flag.
Because they don't find it something to react to.
They
don't really care.
I do think they do. They hate us for empire. One of the things that they hate us for most is the empire. The empire was one of the greatest achievements of any peoples in history, and I do think it was the united British peoples that were able to achieve that. I was talking...
Sure, but then they'll make the argument, it's like, yeah, but you also had lots of Indians and Sikhs and various other people.
Yeah, under our boots.
Yeah, sure.
No, but that's why they hate us.
But the point is, the British flag fundamentally is congenitally a multi-ethnic flag. You've got the St Andrew's Cross.
Multi-ethnic on the British people.
Sure, but then once it's multi-ethnic, that's not a singular statement.
The multi-ethnic nature of it can still be confined to the British people. That's why it's the British flag.
Yeah, but it's not. It's used by lots of people who aren't British.
They still hate it, though. Again, one of the things that they hate us for is the empire, and that is a symbol of the empire. That's also the symbol of the UK. That they see as having subjugated them.
See, I'm not saying that we need to give it up or anything, but what I'm saying is it doesn't have the same resonance that the St George's Cross does.
Doesn't have that quite the same level, but I do think it's sort of being reclaimed here. I think you're both partially right, because when I grew up, well, we used to just have both flags and they were fine, and we thought of ourselves as English. But then it became all about Cool Britannia in the 90s, the Union Jack co-opted by Blair. But now, I think with this movement, it maybe is being claimed back a bit. We know they hate the St. George's flag and cross, and they think it's racist. But the Union Jack, like you say, is partly... They sort of half like it, and like as Harry says, but
they'll tolerate it.
I still don't see any reason to
context dependent. No.
I didn't say abandon it. I didn't say abandon.
And by the way, you have to call it the Union Jack, because this Union flag midwit thing that went around, people saying you have to call it the Union flag. It was completely wrong.
Isn't it a Jack when it's on a ship?
No, that's wrong. That's just false.
Is that wrong?
That's false. But that got put around to demoralise you a few years ago. Union flag, I think you'll find. No, it can be used as Union Jack in a naval or non-naval context. And we always said Union Jack when I was growing up, and I say go back to that, because Union flag is midwit. Demoralisation.
I'm just going to be North FC. Just don't care.
Union Jack. It does sound more chipper.
Yeah. And it just sounds more patriotic and more traditional than what we were used to. Yeah. Union flag is not EU.
It sounds EU, doesn't it? Yeah. It sounds like fake. But the point being, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form we need to give up the Union Jack. Obviously, that's our flag. But it doesn't have the same punch in it. It's the St George's Cross that they're really triggered by, and so you've got to put up the St George's Cross, Jenrick, before I'll accept your containment efforts.
I think both are good.
Both are good, but it's the St George's Cross first.
And they both look great. Aesthetically, they are great flags, don't you think?
Oh, yes. And I also, Scots and English, whatever petty differences that there are and petty sniping, I think we all need to accept that this is one struggle. Just because Scotland isn't as attractive a prospect for migrants at the moment,
eventually England will become so bad that
they're going to start moving back up.
Stop them, yeah, absolutely. Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotuseaters.com.